The National Electrical Code, or NEC, has evolved over time regarding ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, requirements. Here is a summary of the relevant provisions. For the 2008 NEC and later editions, all 15 amp and 20 amp 120 volts receptacles in kitchens, bathrooms, garages, crawl spaces, unfinished basements, and outdoor locations required GFCI protection. Under the 2005 NEC, GFCI protection was required for receptacles in bathrooms, kitchen countertops, crawl spaces, and outdoor locations. According to the 1999 NEC, GFCI protection was required only for receptacles in bathrooms. Prior to that, the 1996 NEC did not require GFCI protection for any receptacles. If a building was built in 1972, it falls outside the timeframe of the NEC requirements mandating GFCI protection. Therefore, an insurance company cannot require the installation of GFCI outlets based solely on the NEC in this scenario. There are certain situations where GFCI protection may be required even in structures built before 1996. Firstly, if a major renovation or electrical upgrade is performed, the current NEC requirements would apply, including GFCI protection. Secondly, some local building codes may have stricter requirements than the NEC, which could include GFCI protection in older buildings. Thirdly, it is always recommended to consider installing GFCI protection in areas where there is potential for electrical shock, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas, for safety purposes. To resolve a dispute with an insurance company, one approach is to provide them with information about the building's construction year and the NEC requirements that were in effect at that time. Also, consult with a qualified electrician to determine if there are any local code requirements or safety concerns that warrant the installation of GFCI protection. Discuss with the insurance company the possibility of installing GFCI outlets voluntarily to enhance safety and potentially lower insurance premiums. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so staying current with the latest edition is essential for electrical professionals and building inspectors. GFCI protection is intended to protect people from electrical shock. It works by monitoring the current flowing through a circuit. If it detects any imbalance, such as current leaking to ground, it quickly trips the circuit, cutting off the power and preventing a potentially fatal shock. GFCI receptacles are readily identifiable by their test and reset buttons. These buttons allow users to periodically test the GFCI's functionality to ensure it is working correctly. GFCI circuit breakers offer the same protection as GFCI receptacles but are installed in the electrical panel and protect the entire circuit. These are typically used for circuits that feed multiple outlets or hardwired appliances in areas requiring GFCI protection. Several factors can influence the specific GFCI requirements for a particular installation. These include the location of the receptacles, the type of occupancy, and any applicable local codes or amendments. It's important to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to ensure compliance with all relevant regulations. While the NEC provides a baseline for electrical safety, local jurisdictions may adopt and amend the code to address specific regional concerns or priorities. These local amendments can sometimes be stricter than the NEC itself, so it's crucial to be aware of any local requirements that may apply. GFCI protection is particularly important in wet or damp locations where the risk of electrical shock is higher. Water is an excellent conductor of electricity, and even a small amount of moisture can create a dangerous path for current to flow through the body. Bathrooms, kitchens, laundry rooms, and outdoor areas are all prime candidates for GFCI protection. In addition to protecting people from electrical shock, GFCI protection can also help prevent electrical fires. Ground faults can generate significant heat, which can ignite nearby combustible materials and lead to a fire. By quickly tripping the circuit, a GFCI can prevent this from happening. The NEC specifies the types of receptacles that require GFCI protection. Generally, all 15 amp and 20 amp 120 volts receptacles in dwelling units in the locations previously mentioned must be GFCI protected. However, there may be exceptions for certain receptacles that are not readily accessible or that serve specific appliances. When installing GFCI protection, it's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Incorrect wiring can render the GFCI ineffective, leaving occupants vulnerable to electrical shock. A qualified electrician should always be consulted for any electrical work, including GFCI installation. GFCI protection is not a substitute for proper grounding. Grounding provides a low-resistance path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the circuit breaker or fuse and clear the fault. GFCI protection and grounding work together to provide comprehensive electrical safety. Regular testing of GFCI receptacles is essential to ensure their continued functionality. The NEC recommends testing GFCI receptacles at least once a month. To test a GFCI receptacle, simply press the test button. The reset button should pop out, indicating that the GFCI has tripped. Then press the reset button to restore power to the receptacle. If the GFCI does not trip when the test button is pressed, it should be replaced immediately. GFCI protection is an important safety feature that can help prevent electrical shock and fire. It's essential to understand the NEC requirements for GFCI protection and to ensure that all receptacles in areas where there is a potential for electrical shock are properly protected. In older buildings, GFCI protection may not have been required at the time of construction. However, it's still a good idea to consider installing GFCI protection in areas where there is a potential for electrical shock, especially if any electrical work or renovations are being performed. The cost of GFCI receptacles and circuit breakers has come down significantly in recent years, making it more affordable than ever to upgrade electrical systems and improve safety. GFCI protection is a valuable investment that can provide peace of mind and protect people from harm. When dealing with insurance companies, it's important to be informed about the applicable electrical codes and regulations. Insurance companies may have their own requirements for electrical safety, but these requirements should be based on sound engineering principles and should not conflict with NEC or local codes. If an insurance company is requiring GFCI protection in an older building that was not required by code at the time of construction, it's important to discuss the issue with them and provide them with documentation to support your position. You may also want to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to get their opinion on the matter. GFCI protection is a critical component of electrical safety, and it's important to understand the requirements and best practices for its installation and maintenance. By following the NEC and local codes, and by working with qualified electrical professionals, you can ensure that your electrical system is safe and reliable. There are also arc fault circuit interrupters, or SIs, which are different from GFCIs. SIs protect against fires caused by arcing faults, while GFCIs protect against electrical shock. SIs are typically required for circuits that serve bedrooms and other living areas. The NEC also addresses the use of extension cords. Extension cords should only be used temporarily and should never be overloaded. Extension cord should also be properly grounded and should be used in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Surge protectors are another important safety device that can protect electronic equipment from damage caused by power surges. Power surges can be caused by lightning strikes, utility switching, or other events. Surge protectors can help to prevent damage to computers, televisions, and other sensitive electronic devices. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. Homeowners, building owners, and electrical professionals all have a role to play in ensuring that electrical systems are safe and reliable. By following the NEC local codes and best practices, and by working together, we can prevent electrical accidents and save lives. The NEC is a living document that is constantly being updated to reflect the latest advances in technology and safety practices. It's important to stay current with the latest edition of the NEC and to understand how it applies to your particular situation. Continuing education is essential for electrical professionals to stay up to date on the latest codes and regulations. There are many resources available to help electrical professionals stay informed, including seminars, workshops, and online training courses. Electrical safety is not just about complying with the code. It's also about using common sense and being aware of the potential hazards of electricity. Always be careful when working with electricity and never take shortcuts that could compromise safety. GFCI protection is an essential safety feature that can help prevent electrical shock and fire. It's important to understand the requirements for GFCI protection and to ensure that all receptacles in areas where there is a potential for electrical shock are properly protected. Remember to test GFCI receptacles regularly to ensure that they are working correctly. If a GFCI receptacle does not trip when the test button is pressed, it should be replaced immediately. Electrical safety is a top priority, and GFCI protection is an important part of a comprehensive electrical safety plan. It is important to note that the information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Also, state laws can change, and interpretations of regulations might vary. It's crucial to verify all information with local authorities and licensed professionals to guarantee compliance. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by qualified individuals. Improper wiring or installation can create a serious safety hazard. Never attempt to perform electrical work unless you are properly trained and qualified. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical safety, always consult with a qualified electrician.